Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren, and on this channel we're going to be talking about a variety of eco-friendly topics, health-based topics, and just overall how to live well. So if some of those topics interest you or you kind of want to see what those entail, subscribe below and stay tuned for what I have in store. For today's video, we're going to be talking about the idea of a one-ingredient pantry. So for some of you, you might be like, what is this? Like, we're only gonna have rice in our pantry? No, so that's not exactly what I mean by the one ingredient pantry, but instead what it basically is stocking your fridge, your shelves, your pantry, everywhere you store food with ingredients instead of food that has multiple ingredients. So for example, on a shelf you would have beans, quinoa, and let's say almond flour, and that's it. You wouldn't have like a loaf of bread with all these different ingredients, or some granola bars with all these different ingredients. And so this one ingredient pantry idea is something that I've been striving to do more, slowly switching to having only one ingredient things in my fridge, on my shelves, and in my pantry. And the reason I'm doing this is to eliminate the possibility of big ag and the food industry slipping ingredients into my food that I don't even know what they are. There are a ton of ingredients in our food. If you really sit down and read every single label of your food, you probably would come across a lot of ingredients that say things like color, like a red 40 or blue 1. And there's also ingredients like anti-caking agents and other processed junk. So the goal is to eliminate those things, because all of those things can cause inflammation. Some are known carcinogens, for example, red 40, and they're just like the kind of things that you don't want in your food. You don't want to be eating these. You want to be eating your bread that's just bread. You want to be eating a granola bar that's strictly just oats, chocolate, nuts, those kind of things, peanut butter, whatever. And so with the one ingredient pantry, what you're doing is you literally have on your shelves and things just like one ingredient, and in your fridge you'll have whole fruits, whole vegetables, and meats, eggs, things like that. And something to remember with this is it's not going to be an easy one-day switch. One day you're not just going to go to the grocery store, buy all these one ingredients, and then be able to survive off that. It's a really slow and steady switch to do these things, especially if you're not used to making your own food. And the push to make your own food is huge right now, because a lot of what's happening in big ag and the food industry is they're slipping in ingredients that aren't healthy for us, and they're not even for health. What big ag is it's mostly going for profit, unfortunately, and that's not all they're for, so don't think it's all bad, but a lot of the time it's not really about the consumer, it's about the money. And so I think my best recommendation, if you're switching to the one ingredient pantry, which I highly recommend to limit toxins and pesticides, herbicides, just really inflammatory things from your diet, I would start by taking one of your food items. Let's say you love granola bars for like a snack, or like granola bites, something like that. Take that specific snack and turn it over and look at the ingredients and see the good ones, things like granola, the nuts, peanuts, almonds, peanut butter, and maybe dark chocolate is in there. And then you might notice things like sugars, anti-caking agents, or other sort of like just interesting, like safflower oil, oils that you aren't really sure why they're in there or what they're doing. Canola oil is another huge one to stay away from. But take your snack, and then think about, okay, let's say I take out all those bad things, and these are the main ingredients that I would want to be eating. Now you could go online and look up a recipe for something very similar to that. And next time when you're going to the grocery store, you can strive to buy those ingredients and not buy the processed granola bar this time. And then you'll slowly be making like switches for all the food that you're noticing has a lot of bad ingredients in them. And if you want a list of ingredients that you should watch out for, I'm going to be having a lot of information down in the info box below, including one of the podcasts I listened to by the Gut Gurus. I got really inspired to make this video because in that podcast, Cindy O'Mara, she mentions that she is kind of doing the one ingredient pantry, and I noticed that that was kind of aligning with what I was already starting to do for myself. And overall, the podcast is amazing to listen to, like that specific episode, and then in general, it could be good to zone in on why she does it. But yeah, and one other thing that I wanted to point out about foods that you might be eating that have sugar in them. You already should probably limit sugar because there's quite a few things. It's inflammatory if you have too much, and it all around is kind of bad for you if you're stocking up on that in your body. So sometimes what brands will do to sneak sugar in or to make it not be the first ingredient is they will put multiple different kinds of sugar into the processed food. So for example, let's go back to the granola bars. They might add corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, and then they might also add, let's say, agave syrup, and then they might add cane sugar. And because they added small amounts of each of those sugars, they're going to be farther down on the list on the ingredients, and maybe the granola will be first now. And so you kind of feel a little bit better about that. But it would be awesome to have a different labeling system, and so we as consumers wouldn't be confused, like how much sugar really is in this. Should it be the first ingredient if we add all those things together? That's a sneaky way that some companies and producers will put sugar into your foods. But yeah, overall, when you're switching, or even when you're thinking about what's in your pantry, really read the ingredients list and make sure that you know what those ingredients are and what they're doing inside your body. Why are you eating that? Oftentimes we mindlessly eat, and we are very privileged in that way nowadays, just to be able to grab something off the shelf and be fully satisfied with a meal like that. It's like back in the day, we would have to grow, harvest, process our own food, all that stuff. So just like thinking a little extra deeper about what you're actually putting in your body and what it's doing for you, not just because it tastes good. And we don't want to be mindlessly eating. Another thing that when you're like looking at your pantry is check if it's straight from nature. That's going to be one of the cleanest ways to eat. And you'll want to make sure this is organic food from nature, non-genetically modified food from nature, and hopefully local. That would be optimal to be able to support local farmers who are organic farmers, and then reduce emissions from transporting, processing, all of that jazz. But yeah, another thing that's really awesome is know the brand you're buying from. If you are buying a item that has more than one ingredient, know their mission. Look up that brand and the company's name and who they are, what they stand for. Are they for environmentally friendly missions? Do they even mention anything at all? Or are they just trying to make money? I love when brands have transparency and they are fully step up to the plate and lay out their mission and what's in their food. I think that's something for me that I've been looking for ever since I started my food mission about 2 years ago. Been slowly shifting into a more clean, whole foods pantry. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video so that you guys might have an idea or be inspired to shift more towards a one ingredient pantry and limit toxins, limit all those multiple sugars and colors that are carcinogenic and inflammatory for your body. So yeah, and if you guys have any comments or questions, you can leave them below. Also, my Instagram is @LaurenWhite28 if you want to follow me. I often post some food that I'm making or other really interesting eco-friendly finds that I find, and just all some good content that's relating to all of those things. So if that stuff interests you, yeah, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.